We are going to discuss how you begin your pitch, what your opening entails. If everything goes according to plan, you have downloaded the storyboard and you will observe 6 squares and 2 circles, which combine to create a sort of comic strip that serves as the foundation of your script. And if you click through to the second slide, you will see a square behind each circle with the necessary questions that will help you to further develop that script, that storyboard. We commence with the primary circle, with the one that holds the inscription magic moment, encompassing its enchanting powers and significance. And that is, in a manner of speaking, what I referred to as the head of your pitch in the previous video, namely the opening, with which you'll attract the attention of your audience, so to speak. And you can think about that well. That's actually a kind of creative process how you'll do that. And that, of course, depends on what you have to say and also what your product or service is. That has to fit well with it. I can visualize 3 different situations in which you could potentially take some kind of action or make a decision. To start off, you could begin by posing a question, a query that you ask the members of the audience present at the gathering. As an illustration, do you have any concept of the magnitude of students who are incapable of applying the DT rules in a precise manner? Well, that could be a query you inquire at the start, and as it happened, you additionally promptly attract attention to what the topic will be concerning. Probably it's about something related to the Dutch language, with verb conjugations or flawless writing, something along those lines. So you are essentially focusing all attention on the subject, and you also make people think. So you involve them, so to speak, and something is happening in their heads, and what you definitely should do is just listen to the answers. It could, of course, also be a rhetorical question, but I would tell you that if you ask a question, you should also listen to the answer. So you could then give a few individuals the opportunity to speak and subsequently disclose the answer, identifying the individual who is closest in proximity. However, you must be prepared to receive a response and be able to take action based on it, so that you continue on it. Continue in the continuation of your story. Suppose you inquire, when was the most recent time you went on a vacation to the beautiful country of Norway? I'm just saying something. Suppose you ask that and everyone answers like, well, I've never been to Norway. Or you ask, when was the last time you took the train to work? And if no one has done that, perhaps your entire story will collapse. So you naturally had hope that you could then ask, what are all the problems along the way, or something like that. Be prepared that when you ask a question, you have the potential to receive various kinds of answers. If you have a product specifically for women and there are only men in the room, be prepared. So begin contemplating the potential answers, the most outrageous potential answers to your question that could exist. If you want to prevent that, you could also turn it around and start with a statement. For example, did you know that 4 out of 10 students at Han make mistakes when conjugating verbs and therefore make mistakes with the D's and T's in their verbs? That would be an alternative. Then you have the identical subject to deal with. You come up with a surprising statement. 4 out of 10 students make DT errors and thus make people think. This way you prevent people from having to answer a question and achieve the same thing. It is especially fun if that statement is a bit provocative or leads to surprise. In any case, it is an alternative possibility. Well, the third possibility that I still perceive is that you commence with a personal anecdote or a story. Something you have encountered, or perhaps, I'm not sure, a friend or your grandmother. But something that you can portray very colorful and vividly. Something that surprises people, gets attention and takes them along in your story. Once I encountered an entrepreneur who had created a tool designed for children who are learning to ride a bicycle. And he described a situation in which his little nephew rode away on a bicycle for the first time and went down a hill. And at that moment he saw a car approaching from the right at an intersection. And he wondered if he saw his little nephew coming, and he clutched his heart. You can visualize that such a tale has a significant impact. And as it was, the flatness of the road struck him. He had to find a solution for this problem that the young cyclist was facing. After much thought, he came up with a brilliant idea that would help the cyclist overcome the challenges on the road. I'll leave it in the middle what the answer is, but you're getting curious. What would he have come up with? And it's something very personal, so it's very close. It is therefore logical that you have experienced that you have also found a solution for it. Therefore, if you genuinely possess a unique bond with your product or service, it can be beneficial to introduce your narrative in such a manner. Kindly note that your opening is primarily intended to attract attention and introduce the subject beforehand. Its main purpose is to captivate the audience and provide a preview of the upcoming discussion. But also be mindful that individuals require sufficient time to become accustomed to your presence, to observe you, contemplating the pleasantness of his appearance or the pleasantness of her appearance. He talks rapidly or he gestures frequently. Perhaps someone is not even listening attentively. But he mainly needs some time to focus his attention on you and to keep his ears open, and only then to listen to your story. And that is also the function of the introduction, of that opening. You get the attention, you are understood, the audience listens to you, and then it's time to tell your real story. And those are the 6 blocks that we will now delve into further.